What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have got some absolutely amazing news from the latest pilot briefing for Star Wars Squadrons, and this is that we are getting 2 more updates for the game, which will be adding a new map, 2 new starfighters, and the thing that has me the most hyped out of all of it, private matches in Star Wars Squadrons. For those of you who know me well, you'll know how excited I am right now, as this is something I've literally been begging for all the way back since Battlefront 2, and then pretty much as soon as Squadrons was announced, I was begging for it for Squadrons as well, as were so many of you guys too, and finally we can officially say that we did it. Private matches will be added to Squadrons in the near future, and I could not be any happier to say that out loud. Now, there's quite a lot to go through in this pilot briefing that they released, so I'm just going to go through every single little detail, as honestly I didn't expect any more updates moving forward, so I'm going to absolutely make the most of this ability to actually break some news to you guys, since it could be a very long time until I get to do this again. So we'll go through it all and then I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end, so be sure to stick around because there is plenty on my mind right now. So to start off, there is going to be 2 different updates, like I said, one being in about a week from when this video goes live, and then the next one will be, I'd imagine, about a month after that. They only mentioned December without an actual date, so I'm going to assume maybe 3 weeks from when the first update comes, since 4 weeks will put it right on Christmas time, but who knows, maybe it will be just before Christmas. Now, in the November update, this one is going to be adding a new map to both fleet battles and dogfights in Fostar Haven, which is the map from the prologue, which I'm sure you would have played, but I'll put some footage on screen for you guys right now. They did mention that it will be slightly different than the campaign version, which makes sense, so it's going to look roughly like what you can see here, but I'm sure it will be a fair bit different just to make it more balanced and to sort of make it suit fleet battles a little bit better as well. The cool thing about this map is that it's got the sort of dockyard area that's kind of close quarters and has tons of cover, but then there's also that big open space area as well that they sort of confirmed will be part of the map, and so it could end up being like 50% Nadiri dockyards and 50% Yavin Prime in a way, which is a pretty cool dynamic for the map. This will take the total to 7 playable maps, which is still not all that much in my opinion, but I'd much rather 7 over 6, so I'm stoked that we're going to have a fresh new map to play on in the near future. Now, in the November update, there are also some other very nice additions, which is going to be 4 new components being added, which is something I didn't expect to see at all. So that will also allow us to change up our playstyles even more, which is great for the replayability. The first component will be available for bombers and fighters, and this is called the Boost Extension Kit. What it does is that it instantly gives your starfighter a full boost, so for those of you who want to do some sort of hit and run tactics with a bomber, for example, this is going to allow you to boost in, deal some damage, and then use this component to regen that boost and use it again to get away to safety. The next component is available for the interceptors and the fighters, and this one is the ion rockets. Now, obviously the fighters already have ion missiles, but from what I can tell, these are actually sort of more like the barrage rockets that are a bit more of a dumbfire weapon, so you can pretty much just spam them without a lock on, but obviously just being ion instead. These can also be used in tandem with the regular barrage rockets, so that is going to be a very deadly combo for taking out shields and dealing damage, or even doing attack runs on frigates and stuff like that. The next component is again for the fighters and the bombers, and these are called the prototype piercing torpedoes, which to me sound like probably the best addition of these 4 new components. What these ones do is they actually bypass capital ship and flagship shields, allowing you to actually deal damage to the hull even when the shield is still up, although they do much less damage than regular rockets. But this means that if you want to take out the shield generators on a Star Destroyer, for example, you can actually now do it from outside the shield, which is amazing and is really going to change up the playstyle of fleet battles as a whole. Now, the last new component is for the support class, and this one is a little bit confusing, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what it's like, but this one is called the anti-material rocket turret, and what it does is it pretty much acts like a regular turret that you can send out, except rather than targeting players, it actually targets capital ships and flagship subsystems and a bunch of stuff like that. So this could be pretty cool to shoot one out near the enemy flagship and let it deal some damage while you sort of sit back and heal your teammates or whatever. It definitely seems like it will add to the support class's arsenal, which is definitely needed in my opinion, so I'm very keen to give this one a try. So that's going to be it for the November update, which like I said comes out in about a week on the 25th of November. So we'll be getting a new map and those 4 components, as well as plenty of bug fixes and balancing and stuff like that. Now, moving on to the second update, which is definitely even more exciting than that one. This will include 2 new starfighters and those glorious private matches that we've all been wanting. The new starfighters are the B-Wing for the New Republic and the TIE Defender for the Empire. The B-Wing will be categorized as a bomber, which will make sense, so it will have roughly the same components as the Y-Wing, although there will be some sort of differences there, and it will play very differently as well, mentioning that it has a gyro cockpit and swiveling wings, which is awesome to see. As for the TIE Defender, this will be classed as a fighter, and for anyone who knows about the TIE Defender, you'll know that they famously have shields, which most of the other TIE variants don't, and so these will be very strong as well, although they did mention that despite both of these starfighters being essentially OP in Star Wars canon, they have obviously been tuned and balanced for the sake of the game, which is great to see. I know it might break the immersion slightly, but I think getting shat on by one of Thrawn's TIE Defenders every 5 seconds would probably break that immersion a hell of a lot quicker. Now, that's really all the information we have for right now on the new starfighters. I'm sure we might get some more once, we're closer to the actual update, but for now, it's honestly just pretty awesome to see that they are confirmed to be coming through the game. Now, lastly, in the December update are, like I said, the addition of private matches, or custom matches as they're referred to here, and these are honestly going to be the lifeblood of this game moving forward. These custom matches will allow 1 to 5 players per side on any of the maps in the game across dogfights and fleet battles. There's also going to be the ability to genuinely customize them. For example, you can add damage modifiers, change the health of the capital ships, allow only certain classes, for example interceptors only, or whatever you want to do, among other things that we will find out more once they actually do arrive. On top of all of that, there's now going to be a server browser system too, where you can actually browse through a list of custom matches made by friends that are private, or even just a public list. So for example, I could make a funny rule set one day when I'm streaming, making it like bombers only or something, and anyone can join that if I make it public, so that right there is quite literally going to extend the lifespan of the game by years on its own. Like I said, this is honestly the best possible thing that any of us could have hoped for. This takes a game that had a worrisome future to where we weren't sure how long it would last, to a place where I can almost guarantee that people will still be playing this in 2 to 3 years from now. Not to mention the fact that Ark and I at Star Wars Legions can set up tournaments so much easier than ever before, both invitational and public ones, and honestly this just gives the future of the game an unlimited potential, and honestly I could not physically be happier with this news. It also opens up the potential for legitimate esports as well. It'll take a lot of work from the community and it's not guaranteed, but there's now a chance that Star Wars could have its very first official esports video game, which is super exciting on its own. In the pilot briefing there's a quote from Ian that I'm going to actually just read all of it out, as this is pretty important, and this is what Ian, the creative director, had to say. From the earliest days, Squadrons has been a labour of love for our team, starting with just a handful of developers whose fond childhood memories of flying X-Wings and TIE Fighters and other games inspired us to create something new. Ever since the launch of the game, it's been an incredible joy to see players around the world climbing into the cockpit of their favourite starfighters, immersing themselves in fleet battles, building squadrons of their own throughout the community, and generally just sharing in the sheer love of Star Wars space combat that has fueled this project since its inception. Your enthusiastic support for Squadrons has enabled us to expand upon it further in all the ways outlined above, and I could not be more thrilled. I'm particularly excited about the custom matches feature because it allows you, the community, to take more ownership of the game and create your own experiences for a long time to come. Thank you for putting your faith in us, thank you for joining the Squadrons community, and thank you for helping us make the game even better through all of your feedback. And especially a big thanks to all of you who supported us even before launch. It's because of your backing that we were able to get a bit of a head start on concepting all this cool new stuff. You really did make a difference. Take care and see you in the stars. Now, honestly, that is one of the most amazing things that Ian and the team could have said. The fact that the community was so adamant and so passionate about getting more content, and then the fact that they truly did listen, that is just an awesome situation to unfold for both sides of the story. The developers themselves got so much praise and thanks for the game that they made, and we, the players, got rewarded with something we were genuinely begging for. And this is honestly just a huge W for every single person involved. I know that a lot of the devs do see these videos, and so to Ian, Jay and the rest of the team over at EA and Motive, I personally would love to thank you all so much for doing this when you initially said you didn't plan on it. I know you guys will know that this will mean a lot to the community, but I truly don't think you actually understand how much the community is going to love these updates. Like I said, this has now secured the future for a game that so many of us love and are super passionate about, and any worries that we had about the future of the game are just completely gone in the blink of an eye. Yes, the player base is still small, yes the game doesn't have as much content as we like it to, but for those of us who wanted to play this game for a long time, we now have nothing to worry about. And honestly, just speaking for myself here, if the game never sees another update after these two, I will pretty much still consider this game a very big success when I look back at it in 10 years from now. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. I am over the moon with this news and I cannot wait for these updates to come along just in time for the holiday period. And I'm sure you guys probably feel exactly the same. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new, then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I will catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!